This is PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Travis tested waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Travis tested waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you eat.
Hey guys, it's me, Travis, with PlayerProps.ai, and this is what we're looking at for Monday Night Football Week 2. We have the Houston Texans versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I record the Monday night shows on Friday. If you aren't familiar with our YouTube video content schedule, simply go to the channel that is called Show Schedule inside of Discord, and that will break it down for you. But now that we're recording this Monday night show every single week on Friday, that means we can recap how things went last night for Thursday Night Football. Here's the recap. Washington, you are dumb. You are one of the dumbest teams. The Washington, the Washington Commanders of Week 2 were the Miami Dolphins of Week 1. What were the plays that we locked in on Thursday night show? Well, the prop we were looking at was the 7th round rookie, who is the starting running back, which is why they traded Brian Robinson Jr. to the San Francisco 49ers in the first place, because they're so confident in him leading the backfield. He had an amazing opening game against the Giants, which, yes, of course, it was the Giants. And all he needed to do is get 40 yards for us to hit, right? They handed him the ball. He had, through I think the entirety of the first half, 2 carries with a 4.5 rush yards per carry. So, statistically speaking, if he were to have gotten enough carries at 4.5 yards, he would have only needed, I don't know, maybe 9 carries to hit his line, which isn't too crazy because he's leading the backfield. But what did Washington want to do? If you watch the game, the very beginning of the game, like the entire first quarter, super close game, very defensive, going back and forth. The Washington Commanders opted not to establish a run game and just pass the ball. The problem is that they don't have a quarterback that can pass the ball. Sure, Jaden Daniels had an amazing rookie season, but there's something called the sophomore slump, and clearly he is in the middle of that. He made some of the dumbest throws, the worst, not even dumb throws in like bad decision making, but he's throwing so many balls into the dirt when he's actually literally trying to get it to one of his players. Then, which clearly did not happen in week 1, they gave the ball rushing plays to Austin Ekeler. If you looked at the box score at the end of the game, your mind would have been blown. Your mind should be blown. The fact that Austin Ekeler had twice the amount of carries, not receptions or just looks, the amount of carries as the guy who had double the yards per carry. Now, of course, I'm not an NFL coach. I'm not a football coach of any kind. Granted, I did take coaching as a minor in school. But I'm smart enough to know that if you have multiple running backs, you feed the hot hand. You feed the guy who's doing better. They decided to give double, not even an exaggeration, double the amount of carries that our JCM guy, our prop of the day, was getting to Austin Ekeler. And then, which is unrelated to the prop, Austin Ekeler tears his Achilles tendon in the fourth quarter on a receiving play or a passing yard or a designed passing play, and now he's out for the season. But it could be a career-ending injury based on his age. Who knows what happens? We wish the best of luck for him recovering, but who knows what's going to happen with that. But the point we're trying to get through, and I know this is a Monday Night Football one, you're like, okay, what are we looking at for Monday Night Football? If you took all of Austin Ekeler's carries, he should only be there in passing yards, passing downs. Third down, passing downs, passing plays. That's where you put AE out there. That's what he's for. That's what he excels at. If you took the 8 carries they gave him with a horrendous 2.1 yard per carry and gave that to the starting running back of JCM, he would have had over 50, I think it was 52, 53 yards rushing, and we only needed 40. So people are saying, some people were saying in the Discord, oh, well, that's what happens when you pick a running back against the stout Green Bay defense. No, The Green Bay defense didn't stop him because he got an amazing 4.3, 4.5 yards to carry. Nothing to do with the Green Bay defense. It's about the Washington play calling. Even if he got 8 carries, he would have hit this line easily. But because the head coach of Washington is very dumb, and the quarterback decided he didn't want to know how to play football anymore and not get sacked and not complete targets to his receivers, then they could have established a run game and they could have kept the game close. Granted, they only lost by single digits because Green Bay defense isn't as great as everybody says they are, because they just see when you see an offense doing so bad, you're like, oh, that defense must be good. Where was that thought process week 1 with the Dolphins and the Colts? Nobody said, oh, the Colts defense is amazing. No, they said, oh, the Colts offense or the Miami Dolphins offense sucks, which they definitely did in week 1. That's the same thing that happened here. Sure, Micah Parsons is amazing. And yes, there are the defense was getting after the quarterback. They lost this game because Washington's stupid. Play calling and the quarterback play, horrible. And so we did not hit our rushing yard line. Is our first missed prop of the NFL season for the shows that we do. And then also the team bet was Washington plus 3.5. If they had one more touchdown, they would have hit that, but they fell short. Even though they only lost by single digits, they didn't lose by a smaller margin that would have hit that plus 3.5. So what we're doing moving forward after a not so fantastic show, I mean, we still hit a lot of stuff because that's what PlayerProps.ai does. I mean, it projects every single outcome. So the people that aren't just locking in what I'm saying on the show and they're actually using PlayerProps.ai, well, that's where you saw the winning screenshots in Discord come from. The people are actually using the app that is created for them and not just waiting to see what Travis says on the shows. But we are fading Washington offense in its entirety moving forward. Nothing that we do moving forward. I don't care if they are the only team playing or one of two teams playing on Sunday Night Football, Thursday, or Monday moving forward. We are fading that offense. They are horrible. Now that we've got through that 6 to 7 minute tangent of how much I hate the Washington Commanders, let's continue here. Again, Houston Texans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 7 p.m. Monday Night Football. Actually, no, correction. That's what DraftKings is only showing one. I'm pretty sure there are 2 games on Monday night. Yeah, BetMGM has both of them. I was going to say, wait a second. I know there's 2 games here. This looks like FanDuel and DraftKings aren't showing player props for those 2 games. So we flipped to BetMGM, which shows both of them. So we're going to use this looking forward. So yeah, we have 2 games on Monday Night Football. Houston, Tampa first, and then the Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders second. I don't think there's any trifectas for these 2. Nope. So we're just going to go ahead and make the line a minimum. Oh, this is something new we added. So this used to be a cap of 100. So you can make it if you only wanted at most 90, a line of 90 or less, you can pull this. But because passing yards are typically around 300, we expanded this. So let's say, for example, you only want to see quarterback lines, passing yards lines of 209 to 270. You can do that now because we expanded the maximum. Anywho, for receiving yards, let's do 30. Okay, apply. This is what we got. So this guy was one of the hottest receiving pickups of week 2 or week 1. Wait, is it considered week 1 waiver wire if it's after week 1? No, I think it's week 2 waiver wire because you're getting players for week 2. That's right. So yeah, Quentin Johnson was one of the hottest pickups because he had a great first game. He has the highest percentage difference out of everybody, and there's a lot of green on the bottom. Granted, it's either green or red here because they've only played 1 game. So he either hit 100% of his 1 game or he didn't. But the thing to note is that he does have a 100% hit rate head-to-head. When he versed Las Vegas at the end of last season, earlier this year on January 5th, he got 186 receiving yards. This man knows how to cook the Vegas defense. And of course, his first game week 1, he had 79. Last game of the season, he had 0. So he's definitely someone. So this is what 48. The fact that you can have 0 is very alarming. But this, yeah, 12, 48, 45. So this is what is like the norm. And then he has that Las Vegas game where it's just a crazy outlier scenario. And then he had 79 last week as well. Let's look at other stuff before we just kind of commit to that. There doesn't seem to be anybody that has anything else that's like, ooh, that looks good for... Let's look at the under stuff. There's not any underplays for this right now. I'm going to reset these filters. Let's look at rushing yards real quick. I'm not a huge fan of quarterback rushing yards. Still trying to figure this backfield out. I don't like committee stuff. And that wasn't supposed to be what happened last night. It was supposed to be JCM is the rushing running back and Austin Eckler was the receiving running back. But the coach forgot that, and that's why they lost. Yeah, there's nothing really popping out here. So this guy was the most electric running back in college football of last year. They won. So they won against New England. They beat New England, and he still only amassed 38 rushing yards. I'm very positive they're an underdog against LA. Current line is 67.5. At least that's what it is on BetMGM. And his projection is what, like almost 8, just outside of 8 less. Typically, we like to see the 2025s here, which is, of course, why it's not a trifecta. But game script-wise, which is something you definitely need to pay attention to, is if they're not winning, they're not running. If they are winning and they're still not running, and he's going to get 38, why in the world would we believe that he's going to get 68 against the Chargers? So what we're going to do now is we do what we like to do and check out how many rushing yards did the Chargers allow in week 1. So we're going to go to team trends. We're going to go to NFL, rushing yards allowed, total rushing yards allowed here. We're looking for the Chargers. So it's ranked by the most rushing yards allowed. So they only allowed 98 total yards, rushing yards in week 1. And then Ashton versus New England only allowed 56. So they're kind of in the middle of the pack at 19 overall in a 32-team league. Let me think. I think that's maybe what we're going to be looking at. Now let's look at, okay, how favored are the Chargers? Okay, so the Chargers are minus 190 money line, which means they have a 65.52 implied chance. The AI actually likes the Chargers more than the sportsbooks do, which is why they have a positive 3.48. So again, this is even more of a reason that the Chargers are not going to should not lose this game anyway. Okay, so there's one more thing I want to do here. I want to see what... So we already know Ashton only got like 38 yards, right? Let's go back to... They played on Sunday, I think, right? So we're going to go back to Sunday. I want to see what his projection was against New England. Okay, so the AI is 100% hit rate. The AI said he was not going to get 69.5 yards, and he didn't. He only got 38. So the AI is 100% undefeated on that projection. So I think that's what we're going with. Yeah, that's what we're going to go with for our prop for Monday Night Football. And then now going back to the team stuff. Nope, this is still last Sunday. So it's a plus 10% positive difference because the sportsbooks are favoring the Houston Texans winning this game. They give them a minus 145 money line, which is a 59% implied chance. But our AI is actually saying barely by a smidge, with only 51% chance, projected chance, that Tampa Bay is going to win this game. And they have a plus 120 money line. So you have to, this is nice, which is why they're higher than this, but you also have to factor in what is the actual projection, and it's only Tampa Bay by slightly better than a coin flip. But that's something to pay attention to. That's something you might want to look at, like Tampa Bay spread for. But again, we don't like, I don't like spreads that are less than a football score. So I don't like less than 3. I don't like slightly less than 7, slightly less than 10. Anything that's like a traditional football score, that's what I factor in when I decide if I want to do spreads or not. Let's look at the... so if I go to DraftKings, I know... Oh, they do have both games. Okay, so they just don't have props for that second game yet. So DraftKings, the team total... So we're still trying to figure out the sweet spot here. This is a brand new tool that we just launched like the day before. I think we launched like in the middle of week 1 last weekend. And we're still trying to figure out like what is the sexiest difference that has a nice hit rate. And I believe we said 3.5. But again, when you're doing things that are based on team bets in the back of your mind, you need to have football scores thinking about it. So let me explain what I mean here with this tool. So right now on DraftKings, Tampa Bay over under 20.5. They favor going under 20.5. Our projection says they're going to score 23 points, which means we go over 20.5, and we actually get plus money on that at plus 102. The difference is that 23 is 2.5 higher than the available line of 20.5. Factoring in football scoring, for them to hit, they need 3 touchdowns without missing an extra point, because that's 21 points. If this was if their line was 21.5, they would need something extra to happen. They would need a fourth quarter 2-point conversion. They would need an extra field goal. But because they only need 3 scores to hit, as opposed to the Houston Texans needing 4 scores to hit, I think that I like them getting 21 points in this game more than I like going at a 51% chance to win, because they can get 21 points and still lose. Or do we want to go with the Chargers money line? I got a better idea. So we haven't done this yet on an NFL show, but we used to do this every once in a while on our MLB shows. So if there's something that I'm not 100% in love with for the MLB shows, which if you watch any of those, it normally starts with strikeouts, right? If there wasn't a strikeout prop I loved, but I thought it was okay, then we would find 2 other plays, or maybe there's 2 things that I thought were okay, or 3 things, but there's not one thing I loved. Then we would find 3 different plays, and as long as 2 of the 3 hit, we make profit. So I think for this Monday Night Football game, I think that's what we're going to do. So for Monday Night Football, we're going to go with the player prop that I mentioned earlier. And if you fast forward to the end, screw you guys, go back and watch. You can't be lazy and expect to win. And so we're going with the player prop. Then we're going to be I am going to go with the Chargers money line. We're going to find in a second the best payout for that, so you guys don't shoot yourself in the foot and take less money from a different source or a different book. And then I think we're going to go with Tampa Bay over 20.5. So let's look at the first. Let's look at the props comparison. So the official line for that is 70.5, because if Yeah, because that's the highest line right now across all of them. So that checks the box on that. So 70.5 is the official line, and then we're going to go to the money line for the Chargers. The best payout is FanDuel at -174. So if you're in a state that has multiple options, take the one that pays you the most, which in this case is FanDuel. And then for the team, we don't have this yet for team total. That's what we need to have. But yeah, that's something else we have to add to this. We haven't added this to the comparison yet. But let me see. So what do we have? We have that on DraftKings. I cannot imagine that that like FanDuel or any other sportsbook has a crazy different line for them. I'm assuming they're 20.5 team total on everything. It's just whichever one has the highest payout. So let me. Where do I don't use FanDuel enough, so I'm trying to figure out where FanDuel has it on their gosh dang app for team points. FanDuel has. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so it's 20.5 on FanDuel as well. So typically most sports are going to have 20.5. You just have to find the best payout, which that tool, because it's a brand new tool, we haven't added it to the comparison yet, but that's something that's on our to-do list this week. But yeah, so that's what we're locking in. We're going to go with those three, and you're not going to put them all in the same parlay because that's not what we're doing here. We're going for a 2 out of 3 win. As long as 2 of them hit, we make profit. But if you put all of them in a parlay and ignore me, and still 2 of them hit and you make $0, or in fact you make negative money, that blood is on your hands because you ignored me. And you've seen over the last 19 months, when you ignore what I say, it doesn't work out for you too often. So stop doing that. Good luck, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. If you haven't yet, make sure that you watch all the other videos available to you. So the only thing that is essentially expired is last night, Thursday night video. We still have an NFL Survivor video up for week 2, an NFL Spread Pick'em contest video up for week 2. We have a Sunday Night Football week video up for week 2. And of course, normally on Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we have our live stream where we build a parlay to turn $2 into $5,000 on oneaparlay.online. But this is the only weekend that's not going to happen because on Sunday, we're doing a PlayerProps.ai meetup where a bunch of us are going to the Miami Dolphins game in Miami where they're taking on the New England Patriots. Because we're going to be tailgating and having all that fun stuff with the community, not available for the live stream. So that's going to be back week 3. Check out all the other content. Make sure that you're in the Discord with your account synced. If you're not, your chances of winning decrease dramatically. If you want them to increase, do the free stuff available to you, starting with getting the app, getting the free account, getting in the Discord, and syncing your accounts. That is on your to-do list today. Do it. No excuses, and we'll see you guys there.